Alright, good morning. Today, I'm here at Varmiyot Lenin Nuclear Power Plant. Today, I'll be interviewing people that work here at the power plant, such as operators, and engineers, and more. And going down the list, first person we got is Robert Delegarza.
Nice to meet you, sir.
First question, Robert. Could you describe a typical day for you here at the power plant? What are your responsibilities?
Well, a typical day involves a lot of monitoring and checking. We are constantly checking the water levels in the reactor cooling systems, making sure the pH levels are stable, the levels are impurities, and the chemical composition are all within safety parameters. The water must be extremely pure to prevent corrosion and scaling, which could affect the reactor's performance and safety. We also analyze the fuel. It's a lot of routine, but it's crucial for keeping everything running smoothly and safely.
Are there any specific parts of the plant that they can receive some help on, or that you believe could receive help from increased attention or resources?
I think we could always use more resources for maintenance and for upgrading some of the older equipment, and perhaps more training, especially for the new personnel. It's a confusing system, and it's important that everyone is fully aware of the potential consequences of any dangerous events from the established procedures.
Generation, you're a whole generation. You're a whole generation.
Urgent Plus fabric softener. Spray. Relief.
55, Jaden Villabando. 56, Alexander Iverson. 57, Malaysia Sams. And then 58, Kevin Alcorn.
I work here as a 4-year reactor control engineer, specifically with reactor number 4.
All right, Kevin, that sounds like a critical role in your position. Could you elaborate, what are your responsibilities here at Chernobyl?
So I'm part of the team that directly manages the operation of the reactor. We check its power input, the flow of coolant, the reactivity levels, and vital parameters. Operating procedures to ensure the reactor is running efficiently and, most importantly, safely. We also double check the startup and shutdown procedures, and we're responsible for responding to any anomalies or deviations from the norm. It requires constant vigilance and thorough understanding of the reactor.
Considering the dangerous power this plant generates, what kind of training and qualifications are needed for business like yours?
So the training is quite intense. We go through years of theoretical study and practical simulations. There are multiple exams and certifications we must pass to be qualified to run the reactor. We also have regular refresher courses and drills to keep our knowledge and skill sharp. The idea is to be prepared for any situations.
All right, Kevin, today is April 16th. Has there been any discussions about any equipment or any knowledge on the current power plant you're working on right now?
Well, yes, there are always ongoing discussions about improving performance and addressing technical glitches. Just the usual wear and tear on some of the older components. We have procedures for reporting and resolving these issues. Sometimes there's a bit pressure to balance output, and that can occasionally lead to feeling of needing to work around minor problems to keep things going.
Could you give me an example of what the recent issues were?
Recently, we had a problem with one of the turbine generators in another unit. It caused some vibrations, and we had to temporarily reduce power to investigate the problem and make repairs. But it was handled according to protocol. But it does remind you of that these machines and things can happen.
How would you describe your overall communication and engineering designing the process?
So we have regular safety briefings. We're supposed to report any concerns we might have. The communication channels are there, but sometimes there could be a reluctance to speak up to forcefully if it goes against the prevailing view or might cause delays. There's a system, and you learn to navigate it. You trust the senior management and chief engineers have the overall picture.
All right, Kevin, and that's all for today. Thank you for your insights, Kevin.
No problem. Thank you.
My name is Corbin Reyes, and this was one of the engineers here, and I'll be signing out.
The whole project will collapse.
Lastly, we have an operation here at Chernobyl Yotes Linden Nuclear Power Plant, and their name is Cassandra Martinez. Good morning. Thank you for agreeing with me to speak with me. Could you please state your name and what your position is here at Vladimir Yotes Linden Nuclear Power Plant?
Good morning. My name is Cassandra. I work in the administrative offices here. My title is Senior Administrative Coordinator, which means I manage a lot of paperwork, personal files, and internal communications.
In your role, you likely have a broad overview of the plant's operations and the general atmosphere. In the weeks and days leading up to today, April 16th, have you sensed anything unusual or concerning with the administrative side of things?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer directly. But yes, if I'm being honest, there have been some things that have struck me as not quite right. Nothing concrete, mind you. Just a feeling.
All right, Cassandra. Could you be detailed on those feelings? What specifically has seemed out of the ordinary?
There have been a few more closed door meetings than usual involving some the senior engineering staff and members of the party committee at the plant. These aren't standard operational meetings. There is a certain gatekeep in the air afterward. People seem to be more tense, perhaps.
Yeah, but tense in what way? Could you give me an example?
Responses in the hallway, avoiding to discuss certain topics openly. I also noticed a few more requests for specific documentation lately. Older maintenance logs, safety reports, things that aren't typically pulled. Unless there's a specific reason. When I've inquired the answers for these vague somethings about routine audits or historical reviews.
Do you know what these audits or reviews might be about?
No, not specifically. And perhaps I'm just reading too much into it. It's possible. But there was once an instance, a voice recording crossed my desk requesting some archived incident reports from a few years back. Minor things, equipment malfunctions mostly, but the sheer number of requests from the chief engineer's office struck me as odd. I felt like they were looking for a pattern, or maybe even some reconnecting past events more closely.
Did you discuss these observations with anyone else?
I mentioned to the kind of worker and personnel, just in passing, about the increased meeting schedule. She commented that she noticed it too, but hadn't thought much of it. But just noticed too. Maybe some new directives from something. You learn not to spy too much in this kind of environment.
So while there's no specific incident, can you point to like a general sense of something being different?
Yes, that's exactly a feeling. There's something going on beneath the surface. In that administrative roles that aren't allowed to do. It could be nothing, just internal reviews or preparations for something new. But there's a small part of me that wonders if there has been more issues that we've generally aware of. And these closed door discussions are more something about significant than routine operations.
All right. Thank you for sharing your observations, Martinez. It's so interesting to hear the perspective from the administration side.
Yes, thanks for asking.
Внимание, внимание! Уважаемые товарищи! Городской совет народных депутатов сообщает, что в связи с аварией на Чернобыльской атомной электростанции
На Чернобыльской атомной электростанции произошла авария. Поврежден один из атомных реакторов. Принимаются меры по ликвидации последствий аварии. Пострадавшим оказывается помощь. Создана правительственная комиссия.